What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Chevy Equinox RS. So the model we're looking at here is the 2024 Chevy Equinox RS. Now, it was recently kind of refreshed, so there's not a lot of design changes here in 2024, but we do have a couple new changes in 2024. One of them is this is one of two new colors. This is Riptide Blue Metallic. We also have a Lakeshore Blue Metallic that I'll put a picture on screen here so you guys can see, but this color is absolutely beautiful. It pops, it stands out so much when you're rolling down the street. Even when I'm walking down the lots looking at all the different vehicles, this one really stood out to me, so I had to grab it. And again, this is the RS model. This one stickers as shown at $36,970. But let's go ahead and hop into what this vehicle has to offer. Now up front, you have a really stylish front end, especially here on the RS with some of the blacked out elements here. You've got a black Chevy bow tie, gloss black front grille with your red RS badging, and you have your really low profile lighting system that Chevy's kind of running with in this current generation. So you have a really slim, low profile daytime running light here. Then underneath that you have this black plastic splitter here, and then you have your headlights as well, which are LED. The LED lighting system is standard on the LT, the RS, and the Premier. Then you have body colored piece, little accented grille area with your parking sensors, and then you have a non-LED turn signal. So that's the only feature of your entire lighting system that, from what I can tell, is not LED, because your taillights are LED as well. And like I said, body colored splitter. Then you have your air intake at the bottom, and then another body colored lip there with your parking sensors dotted around as well. Also hidden inside of this blacked out grille, you have your front facing camera. That's gonna work with your HD surround vision camera system to give you a plethora of camera views, which we'll take a look at when we hop inside the cabin. Now under the hood, you have a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission. This engine is gonna give you 170 horsepower, 203 pound-feet of torque, 31 miles per gallon highway, 26 miles per gallon city. All of it rides on 19-inch aluminum dark Android wheels. They're a little dirty right now, as you can see here, but these are super nice wheels. I really like the color combination. It's almost like a dark gray color, and it looks really nice. No cladding here around the wheel wells, just body colored piece, but you do have some reflectors here. Moving on back, you've got a blacked out Equinox badge, body colored side mirrors with blind spot monitoring, integrated turn signals. They are manual folding, but they are heated thanks to an additional package, and that is the advanced safety package. Up top, you do have gloss black roof rails, a panoramic sunroof, gloss black trim around the exterior of the windows. You have your keyless access button right here. You can just push that to lock and unlock. I did mention there were some new features for 2024. I already talked about the two new color options, but you also have the Driver Confidence 2 package now, which includes lane change alert with side blind zone alert and rear cross traffic alert. It's standard on the LT, the RS that we have here, and the Premier, which includes front and rear park assist, and it's available on the LS, which includes rear park assist. And the great thing about a lot of these features that you get on this Equinox here is that they are standard on most trims. Moving to the back of the Equinox RS here, I mentioned these LED taillights here. They're not really as sculpted as some other vehicles in this segment are. These are pretty plain and pedestrian, but I don't mind them. They have some nice accents on the inside, but they're LED up top here. You have tinted rear glass here, which is really nice. Rear wiper, nice sloped back windshield, easy to see out of. You have a little sprayer here for your back windshield as well. Black Chevy bow tie. You have your camera system up under here that works with your surround vision system, parking sensors, blacked out Equinox badge, a couple reflectors, and then your red RS badging as well. Now, this liftgate here is a power liftgate, and this is standard on almost every trim level, which is super nice to have. Again, some other vehicles in the segment, Crosstrek, don't have a power liftgate as even an option on the highest trim level. So it's really nice to see that on the Equinox here, you can get it on an LT even. Inside, you have a generous amount of cargo capacity. Again, I'll have all dimensions on screen. You've got kind of an all-weather mat here. Up underneath, you've got a spare tire, room for all your tools. You've got these levers here, which are gonna drop your second row seats for you, nice and easy. Those have all-weather liner on them as well. You have some cargo hooks. You got a 12-volt outlet back here, space for a cargo net, tons of capability and capacity back here. Really nice. Let's hop inside the cabin. All right, so hopping inside the cabin of the 2024 Equinox here, let's go ahead and just work our way left to right and talk about everything that we find in this RS cabin. So I'll be upfront with you guys, there is a lot of black plastic in here. It's a pretty contrastless cabin outside of some accent stitching and a couple red accents that are specific to the RS package. So if you want some really dynamic interior design cabin, this is not the vehicle for you, at least not this specific trim. A lot of black plastic, hard black plastic as well. You do have a little bit of kind of a rubbery fabric material here on the armrest with some red accent stitching, like I mentioned. Black plastic buttons for your window controls, your power mirrors, as I mentioned outside. You have automatic windows for just the driver's side. Keep that in mind. You have your light controls down here. You do have automatic headlights with automatic high beams as well here on the stalks. Light wiper controls, nothing fancy there. The steering wheel is leather appointed with some red accent stitching around there. It does still have the kind of mushy buttons that I'm not a huge fan of that some of the older Chevy models have. The updated design hasn't quite trickled down here to the Equinox quite yet, but outside of those mushy buttons, you do have some nice functionality. You have a heated option on the steering wheel, as well as adaptive cruise control here with all your controls for that on the left side, all your media controls on the right side. A little bit of gloss black plastic, but it doesn't show fingerprints quite as bad as piano black plastic for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Past the steering wheel, you've got just standard speed gauges, no digital display here like you have on some even lower end models now. A little color cluster in the middle that gives you some vehicle information. Push to start engine button right here. You have two vents, so you have a dual zone climate control, so individually adjustable climates for driver and passenger, and you can sync those up. Rear passengers do have vents, but you don't have your own climate control system back there. 8-inch infotainment system here. This is Chevy's Infotainment 3 system. You've got all your standard radio, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which are both wireless. You got Wi-Fi built in, various users. The whole suite, you've got it all here. Inside of this camera menu I mentioned, you get all kinds of different views with this surround vision camera system. So you have an overhead kind of 360-degree top-down view, and then you can switch between both front, rear, and side views, and there's typically multiple angles for both. So if you're facing forward and you want to see what's in front of you, make sure this one's highlighted. If you tap again, it'll show you your rear camera. Then you can switch to like a top-down trailer view. You can switch to your front tires. You can switch to your rear tires. You can remove that little line that helps you guide if you're putting on a trailer. And you can disable the 360-degree overhead view and just see kind of more of a full screen version of whichever camera view you want to see. So a lot of functionality inside of a relatively affordable SUV right here that you don't have on other vehicles in this segment. I also did want to mention that you have a 7-speaker Bose premium audio system that is part of the RS package. So if you get an RS, you're going to get that 7-speaker Bose system. Moving on down, you do have a button that you can disable your auto start stop, which is nice to have. Dual zone climate control, like I mentioned right here, individually adjustable for driver and passenger. Underneath that, you do have an SD card slot, a USB-C port, a USB-A port, and a 3.5mm aux jack, as well as a 12-volt outlet. Doesn't look like we have any wireless charging option on this specific trim. Moving back a little bit more, you have your parking sensor button right here, a leather-tipped shift knob here with some buttons on the side for a manual mode, little RS badging on there, accent stitching on this little leather bottom part. This is your 6-speed automatic transmission, and then behind it you do have an electronic parking brake, 2 cup holders, a little pocket for change or whatever. You do have a little bit more of this faux leather on the armrest here with some nice red accent stitching that runs right down the center. Under the center console, you have 2 more USB-A ports, no more USB-C ports though. Little tray here that you can move around, and a nice deep pocket with a little light in there, which is always nice to have. Just your standard glove box over here. But let's talk about other cabin materials. So I mentioned a lot of hard black plastic here. It kind of runs across the dash here as well. And then once it moves down a little bit, around the center console area and around the infotainment, you get not only a faux leather, but also like a faux fabric material with some red accent stitching. And then immediately after that, you go straight back to that hard black plastic, and that makes its way all the way around. So it's definitely not the nicest looking cabin, but it definitely can take some wear and tear. And if you're getting this vehicle, it's typically speaking going to be for a first-time driver, small family car. So it's nice to have some nice rugged features, even on a little bit higher priced model here at $36K. I did want to mention that one place that they really seem to cut costs is on these rear view mirrors. This is such a dinky, goofy little rear view mirror. Not a big fan of that. You know, I like my big chunky rear view mirrors. You do have LED dome lights up here. You have your panoramic sunroof controls here as well as OnStar and a little sunglasses holder. As far as seating surfaces go, these are a leather appointed jet black seating surface that is specific to the RS trim. You get this red accent stitching, which I love, and then these cool little little rubber RS badges on the side, which I'll give you a little look at so you can see. The driver and passenger seats are both heated. The driver's an 8-way power adjustable seat with, I think it has a lumbar. It does, it has lumbar. I love lumbar support. And then the passenger seat is just a manually adjustable seat. All right, so hopping in the back seats here of the Equinox, first thing that jumps out at me is, man, are they comfortable seats. Seriously, for something that's in this $36,000-ish price range, super, super comfortable, very padded. Now I'm making a hidden features video for the Equinox here, and for a little spoiler, I did show that you can actually recline these seats, which makes them even more comfortable. But they are super bolstered, super padded, very comfortable with this leather seating surface, little perforations here as well. Red accent stitching. If you drop this center console portion, you get 2 cup holders, a nice armrest. 2 adults back here, no problem. 3 kids, no problem. Plenty of headroom here for me. Probably got, I don't know, inch, 2 inches. And if you open this up, it's gonna feel even more light and airy back here. Handles, LED lights as well, a little bit of glue still from the factory. The armrest area over here, not the most comfortable, a lot of hard plastic, but you know what, it's the back seats. You've got pockets here for maps, which we all know you don't have, so pockets here for iPads, phones, snacks, whatever the case may be. Vents here, like I mentioned, 2 USB-A ports, and then you do have a full-sized 120-volt outlet down there. All right, let's take the Equinox here for a little test drive. Gonna have to be brief, we have no gas. Go ahead and put the pedal down. So as you'd expect, 170 horsepower in an SUV, it's a little bit slow, a little lethargic, if you will. But again, you're not buying this for speed necessarily. As far as visibility goes, I'd say it's pretty good. You don't have any pocket windows. You're just nice and clear. Nice big front windshield, nice clear back windshield as well. I'd say visibility is pretty top notch. Not a lot of blind spots. Pretty minimal pillars. Usability of the infotainment is perfectly fine. It's nice and accessible. All the air conditioning controls are nice and accessible as well. The push to start button, as you can see right there, is behind the steering wheel. So that is annoying to me. You do smack your hand on it trying to hit it when you're not looking, but I guess once you get the hang of it, it won't be that bad. It's very smooth. Kind of the acoustic properties of the cabin are something that Chevy emphasizes, and I feel like it lives up to it. It's a very quiet cabin, minimal road noise, even at high speeds. Again, very smooth ride, no issues there whatsoever. Really, the biggest thing that you're going to notice is just that 170 horsepower. I mean, that's just part of it. It's a small SUV, it's a compact SUV, it's not built for speed, it's not performance based, even though this is the RS model. And again, it's not terrible. It's just not going to pin you to your seat or anything like that. But again, not what you're buying it for. Let's go ahead and test the driver assistance features real quick. So it's speeding me up to 45, keeping me kind of far away from this car in front of me here. Even though I've got the gap distance set really low, it's keeping me very far away. Let's turn on lane keeping because that's not on right now. There we go. Now you can see the green lines on there. See how well it keeps me in the center of the lines here. So a little bit of a curve coming up, it makes me nervous. Yeah, it just doesn't do curves. Don't try and take it on curves. It did slow me down when that car started to turn out of that lane though. So it's not anywhere near kind of a semi-autonomous driving system at all. Even in some other models in the segment where we've seen pretty effective semi-autonomous driving features, the Equinox does not have that quite yet. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about the 2024 Chevy Equinox RS? Do you love this Riptide blue metallic color? I think it really pops. It's a really nice, bold statement. And it's pretty affordable too, with some really nice standard features. So let's have a conversation down in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.